Good morning, this is Mike Houston with your Sunday morning weather hazard briefing for southeast Idaho. Taking a look at our weather impact summary this morning, we continue to see a breakdown of the upper ridge across the region. That'll result in critical fire weather conditions across a good portion of southeast Idaho today. We have a vigorous storm system sweeping into the region across Montana Monday and into the southeast Idaho Monday evening. We do expect critical fire weather conditions out ahead of this system, and then it should be turning colder with gusty north winds and a chance of valley rain and mountain snow as that storm system sweeps through late Monday afternoon and evening. We are looking at a chance for frost and freeze warnings for a portion of the Snake Plain Tuesday through Thursday morning, and we'll get into all of that here in a second. Taking a look at our satellite imagery this morning, we continue to have a high-pressure ridge positioned over the Great Basin this morning. It will continue to break down today as Pacific energy rotates over the top of the ridge and dives south into the Dakotas. Looking at our weather impact matrix for the week, we do have, everywhere we see gold here, we have a red flag out for gusty winds and low humidity. As that ridge breaks down, we should see winds mixing into the boundary layer here throughout the Snake River Plain and southeast highlands and part of the Sun Valley region. As we work into Monday, those conditions slip a little further south and west, mainly portion of the Snake Plain here, particularly down American Falls westward. Certainly the Magic Valley, the southern highlands and southeast highlands will see potential for red flag conditions tomorrow as winds pick up ahead of that storm system that I was mentioning. And then as I was talking about earlier, we are expecting a mix of rain and snow to sweep south across the northeast and eastern mountains Monday night into Tuesday morning. We should see clearing skies Tuesday morning with a potential for frost, maybe in the upper valley north of Idaho Falls, say Rexburg, Mud Lake region. And then for Wednesday, there should be a widespread potential for frost and freeze throughout the Snake River Plain, maybe even as far as the eastern Magic Valley. And then a little bit of potential for frost for Thursday morning as well, as conditions are slow to warm across the region. All right, let's look at some forecast charts. Here we are looking at the flow pattern for this morning. We have a high-pressure ridge centered over the Great Basin. As I pointed out on satellite imagery, some weak disturbances working over the top of the ridge through northwest Canada and diving into the Dakotas. As we work our way into the 6 p.m. hour today, you can see that ridge really beginning to get beaten down as more energy dumps into at least northeast Montana and the Dakotas. And therefore, with the ridge breaking down, we do expect some winds, especially gusty winds and low humidity across a good portion of southeast Idaho. The red area here indicates the potential for red flag conditions within southeast Idaho. And then this hatched area is indicative of a lake wind advisory that we have out for American Falls Reservoir this afternoon. As we continue with the forecast flow pattern, we do have a fairly vigorous low-pressure system dropping south out of Canada into Montana here Monday noon. That'll result into some stronger winds across the region. We'll take a look at those here in a second. But in addition to the winds, we'll have precipitation working into the divide here around 6 p.m. and then spreading south along the Montana-Wyoming border over the nighttime hours, as I mentioned, with a chance of valley rain and mountain snow. Okay, let's look at those winds for Monday. Here we are out ahead of the storm system on noon on Monday. The associated cold front now just beginning to work its way into the Dillon area, right up here along the Montana border. We're seeing winds increasing across the eastern Magic Valley and south central highlands out ahead of that. And then as we work into the 3 p.m. hour, we start to see winds spilling over the top of the divide from the north into the upper Snake Plain. And that'll cause winds down here in the eastern Magic Valley to really enhance, extending from the Burley area all the way down towards Malad. And then by the time we get to 9 p.m., it looks like that cold front will have swept through all of southeast Idaho here with some fairly decent winds across the region. Okay, as we get to Tuesday evening, you can see that storm system now well off to our south and east, a dry northerly flow across the region. So as I mentioned in the morning hours, that'll probably lead to some frost potential, or maybe even some light freezing up here in the upper Snake River Plain. But certainly as we continue to go on out into Wednesday, we should see widespread freezing across a good portion of the Snake River Plain and possibly the eastern Magic Valley. For the warnings that we'll have out for Monday, as I mentioned, with the strong winds here in this red area, we have a red flag warning out for gusty winds and low humidity extending from Burley through Malad, Bear Lake region. The tan area here is indicative of a high wind watch that we have out. I think that may be overdone. I think what we are looking at is a strong potential for wind advisory conditions with that northerly flow pushing down the valley here. Previous shifts was using an outlier model which had very strong winds in it. And it looks like that's probably it for our highlights there on Monday. I'm not going to show you the graphic for Tuesday morning. That had freeze watch in it, and certainly by, like I said, Wednesday morning we expect a widespread freezing across a good portion of the Snake River Plain. Okay, summarizing, we have a breakdown of the upper ridge across the region. That'll result in critical fire weather conditions across a good portion of southeast Idaho today. We have a vigorous storm system sweeping into the region Monday afternoon. That'll result in critical fire weather conditions out ahead of the associated cold front across the eastern Magic Valley and southern highlands. And then as the cold front pushes south through the Snake River Plain, we'll see colder temperatures, gusty north winds, and valley rain and mountain snow showers Monday night. We do expect to see a chance of frost and freeze warnings maybe Tuesday morning in the upper valley, but certainly widespread Wednesday morning and continuing with some potential into Thursday morning as well. That's all I had for you here this morning. If you had any comments, questions, or concerns, please give us a call at the number on the screen. Thank you.